You're listening to AI PRISM from Seoul Economic Daily.
It's Thursday, May 28th. I'm bringing you today's front page from Seoul Economic Daily. Four stories dominated Korea's headlines today. And together, they paint a picture of an economy breaking records at the top while fracturing in unexpected places below. Let's start with the number that stopped traders in Seoul. SK Hynix crossed $1 trillion in market capitalization today, making Korea the only country outside the United States with $2 trillion companies. Samsung Electronics reached that milestone first. Now SK Hynix has followed, its shares surging 9.31% to a record 2,243,000 on the session. The trigger was the launch of 16 new single-stock leveraged ETFs, tracking Samsung Electronics and SK Hynix simultaneously. On their first day alone, these products pulled in net inflows of roughly $1.37 billion. The KOSPI closed at 8,228.70, up 2.25%, hitting yet another all-time high. Here's the thing that should catch a global investor's attention. Of 920 stocks listed on the KOSPI, 826 fell on the same day the index hit a record. Advancing stocks numbered just 77. The ratio, more than 10 to 1, declining over advancing. That is extreme concentration by any standard. Now to Samsung Electronics, where a 167-day labor dispute officially closed, but the harder story is what it left behind. The union ratified the 2026 wage agreement with 73.7% approval. The deal gives semiconductor division employees maximum bonuses exceeding 600 million won, roughly $400,000 per person. The Consumer Electronics and Mobile Division, covering Galaxy smartphones and home appliances, will receive stock worth approximately 6 million won, about $4,000. The gap within the same company, 100 to 1. The second union, where device division workers are concentrated, voted 78.9% against. That's nearly 8 in 10 workers rejecting a deal that technically passed. Samsung's management has pledged to reflect deeply on what this means for company culture. They also announced a 5 trillion won commitment, about $3.3 billion over 5 years towards supplier support, industrial accident funds, and AI talent development. Third story, Seoul's rental market. Korea has a unique housing system called Jeonse. Instead of monthly rent, tenants pay a large lump sum deposit, typically half to 80% of the apartment's value, for a 2-year lease. A 2020 law caps renewal increases at 5%. But new contracts carry no cap. The result? In Banpo-dong, one of Seoul's most expensive neighborhoods, a new Jeonse contract for an 84-square-meter apartment closed at 2.4 billion won, roughly $1.6 million. A renewal contract for the identical floor plan in the same building closed at 1.68 billion won in April. The gap between a new tenant and a renewing neighbor, 720 million won, or about $480,000. Same building, same apartment type, different timing. This dual price structure is now visible across Seoul, from prime Seoul district to middle market Nowon. A local agent described conditions simply, "There are so few available units that new contract prices are whatever the landlord asks." Finally, Seoul Forum 2026, hosted by Seoul Economic Daily at Shilla Hotel, opened today under the theme Beyond Intelligence, the New Engine of Industry. President Lee Jae-myung, in a video address, called AI technology a national strategy that will transform citizens' lives and the country's future. The keynote came from Michael Patrick Perry, Chief Commercial Strategy Officer at Persona AI, who built his career at DJI, Boston Dynamics, and Dexterity. His argument, the winner in the physical AI era will not be the company that builds the best robot. It will be the company or country that deploys robots most effectively in real industrial environments. Application beats specification. He cited DJI as proof. DJI didn't make the first consumer drone, and it didn't make the cheapest. It made the most deployable and captured 70% of the global market. Korea, with its semiconductor strengths and manufacturing base, is well-positioned if it moves from chip production toward physical AI deployment at scale. Day 2 of Seoul Forum continues tomorrow with sessions on explainable AI, Korea's sovereign chip infrastructure, and robotics venture investment. That's today's AI PRISM. Front Page Daily. This episode was produced with AI assistance based on Seoul Economic Daily reporting and reviewed by a human editor. AI PRISM is a Juan Ifra award-winning series. We'll be back tomorrow.
You've been listening to AI PRISM from Seoul Economic Daily.